सब ठीक है, गाना बंद करते। आज हमारा हो गया 9 सब्सक्राइबर्स। किसी ने तो आज सब्सक्राइब किया, थैंक यू। चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं ना। ऐसे तो इसमें ये पेन की जरूरत नहीं है, पर मजा आता है इसमें लिखने से। The author of the Fisher Queen's dynasties. No idea. How many total medals India won in 2022 Commonwealth Games? No idea. As of July 2025, which of the following is not classical language of India? Hindi. Which country is top producer of iron ore in Asian region? China or कौन सी? U Srinivas is associated with which musical instrument? U. Who is the author of the book An Equal Music? An Equal Music. भाई इतने सारे बुक्स के क्यों आ रहे हैं क्वेश्चन में? सलमान रुश्दी, अमिताभ घोष, विक्रम सेठ, जाकिर हुसैन is tabla. Vaishali is world's first republic was found by Vaishali, the world's Lichavi. Who started the gravity is not limited to just apple on moon? Newton. What is the following statement about privatization is false? Improved performance is one of the advantage of privatization. सही है. There is no possibility of exploitation of monopoly power by private. No possibility. There was an increase in the case of disinvestment after economic reforms in 1991 as compared to pre-1991. सही है. Maruti Udyog Limited was a public sector enterprise before 1991 economic reform. Maruti Udyog, Maruti Suzuki. हो सकता है. In which of the following years the first radio program was broadcast? रेडियो आया ही था शायद. इसमें इंडिया नहीं लिखा हुआ, तो 11 हो सकता है, बहुत पुराना. Kheda district is in Gujarat. The magnificent place assembly hall with 80 pillars was built by building the reign of which Mauryan ruler? Chandragupta Maurya. और कौन से हैं? अशोक, बिंदुसार. Which of the following years was the death anniversary of Harsh? 1606 से 1640 तक. None of the above हो सकता है. Where is the urine stored? Urinary bladder in India states having highest and lowest population density. Highest तो कुछ इसमें बिहार में, तो इसमें बराबर. Where was the प्रार्थना समाज? प्रार्थना समाज विनोबा भावे, महाराष्ट्र, मुंबई. What is the objective of the cut motion? Reduce income tax to excise duty to reduce the expenditure of budget proposal. Which of the following countries is the world's largest producer of coal? Producer of coal. Producer. चाइना देती होगी सबसे ज्यादा, या रशिया भी हो सकती है. यूएसए में तो कोल ज्यादा नहीं होगा. रशिया या चाइना हो सकता है, इन दोनों में से एक होगा. जयगढ़ फोर्ट, जयपुर हो सकता है. Newton's second law is used to state F equals to ma. The original statement of law is force equals mass multiplied by acceleration. Force is proportional to the rate of change of momentum. Force is proportional to the rate of change of momentum. Force is functional of acceleration and momentum of the body. Force is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration. Force is proportional to the rate of change of momentum. मोमेंटम p इक्वल्स टू मास इनटू एक्सीलरेशन ही होता है रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ what was the what was one of the main goals of the industrial policy of after 1991? Close all priority to nationalize all bank to register foreign investment. To promote small scale industry, which state in India has the highest sex ratio? Kerala. Who was the political guru of Mahatma Gandhi? Hmm. Firoz Shah Mehta. National Sample Survey Organization was established in. मैं तब पैदा नहीं हुआ था तो मुझे नहीं पता. The trip is cancelled by the department. क्या करना है active voice. The department cancelled the trip. है ना is है. The department is being cancelled by the trip. वाह. क्या है ये correct spelling? Immune AMMUNO UN immunogeny Genie genicity immunogenicity. जीनी है सिटी नहीं होगा जेनी सिटी immunogenicity सही है. The physician said to the mother, do not eat much to escape from the disease. हैं? The physician has advised my mother not to eat much to escape from the disease. Much to escape. Said Tena advised my mother much escape. Not to. Mother to not to. The Guru asked his disciple where he had learned those meditation techniques from. The Guru said, asked his disciple, asked to his yoga, asked his disciple, where did you learn the meditation technique from? My brother is resembling my mother. Was resembling, had resembled, had been resembling. Megha's habit of procrastination puts her colleagues on lot of trouble. Into lot of trouble. Into lot of trouble. Puts her colleagues to a lot of trouble. Troubles है. Troubles तो वैसे भी नहीं होगा. To a lot of trouble. By the time there is the theater, the movie had already started. Matty had come in like some dash kid and thrown himself in a corner. Truant kid के लिए तो ज्यादातर truant लगता है. Destitute, macabre. Matty had come in like some truant kid and thrown himself in a corner. Petulant kid के लिए तो ज्यादातर truant ही लगता है. These pens were found in the upper drawer of your table. These pens were found in the upper drawer of your table. सही लग रहा है पूरा. में container. These pens were found in the upper drawer of your table. ठीक है. Most of the staff is restive under the new manager. Relaxed. All the students agreed that the program of the examination. Agreed to the. She was taken aback by his hurtful words, wondering why he would choose to speak so unkindly. क्या मतलब है इसका? Antonym of opposite of the word contrite. Contrite, unkindly, hurtful, aback. पता नहीं. Skip it. One of the four sentences given below is grammatically correct. Spelt flour is milder and lighter than गलत than है. There was a reasonable nexus की spelling गलत है to bring such a measure. The H-1B visa were being used by companies to bring in foreign workers in a low wage rate. Companies to bring foreign workers in a low wage rates. Many people attend the funeral of the great man. Wages होगा ना, low wages rates या कुछ. I accepted the gift of my aunt and she expected होगा ना, money from my father. In which of the following question tag is incorrectly put? They haven't come. Have they? Say yes. Somebody has called. Haven't they? Some have some more rice. Your sister cooks well, doesn't she? Incorrectly spelled word. Demolished की spelling DE होता है ना, demolish. Conduct biopic handful सही है. Being careful that every detail of something is correct. Impregnable. Fastidious का मतलब है इसको सब सही चाहिए. Which of the following sentence is incorrect? There is a university. Yeah, सही है. He is a university student. ठीक है. A university will be established as no soul. He is a university. There is a university in Kolkata. He is a university student. The university will be established at Unsol. क्या करना? Change the voice. She persuaded him for over a year. E an year नहीं होगा, an year. She persuaded him for over a year. He was being pursued by her for a year. He was being the ing. He was persuaded by her by the skin of her teeth. Just avoid falling. Bring to justice to catch a criminal by the skin of your teeth. Narrow margin होता है ना. Just avoid failing. सही है, ये भी हो सकता है. Just avoid failing. हल्का सा रह गया बस हारने से. Work has been a way of demonstrating difference between males and females. For example, by merging the meanings of fatherhood and breadwinner, and then more recently prying them apart. Since the 17th century, masculinity and femininity have been defined, not necessarily achieved, by the place in a moral economy. As women, working men got paid wages for the production of value on the job, or as a working woman would who got paid nothing for the production of maintenance of families. Of course, these definitions are now changing as the meaning of family changes. Along with profound and parallel changes in the labor market, the entirety of women is just one of those, and in altitudes towards sexuality. When work disappears, the gender produced by the labor market was blurred. When socially necessary labor declines, when what we once called women's work, education, healthcare service becomes our basic industry, not a territory. Dimin- Dimensions of the measurable economy, the labor of love, caring, and one another of and learning how to be a brother's keeper. Social benefits labor become not merely possible but eminently necessary, and not just within families where affection is routinely available. No, I mean out of there in a wider and in the wide world. Work has also been the American way of producing racial capitalism, as the historians call it, by means of slave labor, convict laborers, sharecropping, then segregated labor markets. In other words, a free enterprising system built on the ruins of black bodies, an economic edifice animated, saturated, and determined by racism. There never was a free market in labor in these United States. Like every other market, it was always hedged by lawful systematic discrimination against black folk. You might even say that this hedged market produces the still deployed stereotype of African American laziness by excluding black workers from remunerative employment, confining them to the jitters of the 8-hour day. And yet, though work has often entailed subjection, obedience, and hierarchy, it also where many of us, probably most of us, have never consistently expressed our express our deepest human desire to be free of externally imposed authorities or obligations self-sufficient to be self-sufficient. We have defined ourselves for centuries and by what we do, but what we produce. But by now, we must know that this definition of ourself entails the principle of productivity, from each according to his habits to each according to his creation of real values through work and commits us to the inane. idea that we are both working, both we are worth only as much as labor market can register as a price. But now we must also know the principal plots of a certain course to endless growth and its faithful attendance and environmental degradation. Hmm. Which conclusion is the most consistent with author's argument about broader consequence of defining ourselves by productivity? The principle ensuring the equitable growth of an environment and the focus on productivity. ये लास्ट वाला पैराग्राफ तो मुझे बिल्कुल भी समझ में ही नहीं आया क्या है. Productive based definitions of self-worth have reduced social hierarchies. एक तो hmm and socially necessary labor declines when productivity based on definition of self-worth has reduced social hierarchies. Social hierarchies last वाले में था. Work has also been by means of slave labor. Free enterprise system built on the ruins of black bodies and economic edifice. There never was a free market in labor in this United States. Like every other market, it is always hedged. Systematic discrimination against black folks. You might even say that this hedge market produces this still deployed stereotype of African American laziness by excluding black workers from reputed employment, remunerative employment, confining them with Cheetos of 8 hour day, and yet though work are often in subjective obedience and hierarchy. It also though hierarchy, it also where many of us, probably most of us, have consistently experienced our deepest human desire to be free of externally imposed authority or obligation, to be self sufficient. We have defined ourselves for centuries by what we do, by what we produce. But by now, we must know that the definition of ourself entails the principle of productivity for each according to his abilities, to each according to his creation of real values through work, and commits us to inane ideas that we worth only as much as the labor market can register as a price. Now we must also know that the price principle plots a certain course to endless growth and its faithful attendance environment degradation, which are the most considered the broader consequences of defining ourselves to be productive. Because productivity inevitably leads to perpetual growth in environmental harm. Productivity have different self-worth, social hierarchies, the labor market reward false form of social life and if labor is equally the principle ensures ये तो नहीं होगा सबसे. The principle ensures equality, equal growth and equal sustainability. ये लिखा नहीं है. According to growth तो equal the है नहीं. The focus on productivity inevitably leads to perpetual growth and environmental harm. Environmental के बारे में तो पता नहीं कहाँ लिखा है. Productivity based definition of self. Productivity based definition of self worth has reduced social hierarchy. ये है ना, by now we must know that the definition of ourselves in the principle of productivity, where each according to the abilities to each according to the creation of real value through work, and commits us to inane ideas that we are worth only as much as the labor market can register as a price. By now we must know that the principle plots certain course of endless growth and its full attendance environmental degradation. Environmental degradation है तो यहाँ पे. What can be inferred about the author's view of how work defines personal worth in modern society? Hmm. Personal worth. Labor market valuation of work is arbitrary and leads to self-worth being linked to productivity. Yes, ये सही लग रहा है. The principle of productivity is a fair and just started human value. Now, society is moving away from the defined value of labor. Work is objective measures of person's to value. Labor market valuation lead to self-worth being linked to productivity. Celebrate economic, critical, reflective, questionable, dominant narrative, work, gender, and race. Baapre. According to the passage, which of the following statement is slash are about the transformation of women workers in the context of societal labor change? Decline in social necessary labor leads women work becoming foundational to the. Yes, सही है. Caring and education will become less valuable as work disappears. हैं? Social benefits labor becomes necessary beyond the family sphere. Social beneficial labor. Got their definition of family change. When work disappears, the gender produce labor market are blood. Socially labor declines, but when once called women's work, education, healthcare become our basic industry and not a territory dimensioned by the measurable economy. Labor of love, caring and one another, learning how to be brothers keepers, social benefit labors become more merely possible but eminently necessary. Mm. Social benefit labor become necessary beyond the family sphere. The following statement reflects the relationship between the work, gender, and social change as described in the passage. Relation between work, gender, and social change described. This concept of brain breadwinner historically merged fatherhood with paid labor. Women unpaid domestic labor can has been centered to the moral economy since the 17th century. The, and the entry of women into labor market has reinforced traditional gender roles. सारे ही सही लग रहे हैं. फिशर्स फिशर क्वींस डायनेस्टी. कॉमनवेल्थ में कितने मेडल जीते थे हम लोगों ने? Hmm, equal music. Following countries in the world largest producer of coal. ये पता नहीं. National Sample Survey Organization. आजादी के बाद ही हुआ होगा मैक्सिमम 153 या 1। शी वाज टेकन अबैक, पता नहीं क्या है अबैक। ठीक है, 108। छह गलत हो गए तभी। देखते हैं क्या क्या गलत हुए। किसने लिखी है? चंद्रमौली ने। कविता खनाए। चंद्रमौली ने लिखी है अर्जुना। सागर पंडवा रियल प्रिंसेस कार्तिकेय द डिस्ट्रॉयर ऑफ सोन। कुल म्यूजिक विक्रम सेठ। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग फर्स्ट रेडियो प्रोग्राम? 1923। जिसको ये नहीं है तो क्या अशोक है? अशोक ने किया है। बुद्धिज्म। टू रिस्ट्रिक्ट, ओ माय गॉड, ये मैंने क्यों किया? मुझे लगा रिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं है। Who was the political group? महात्मा गांधी, दादा बनर्जी, जस्टिस राणाडे, एमजी रानाडे, गोपाल कृष्ण गोखले। 1950 में एस्टैब्लिश हुई एनएसएसओ। 3 इसमें गलत हुए, 3 उसमें गलत हुए। Matty had come in like some dash kind kid to throw himself in a corner. Petulant. Petulant means childlike, sulky, bad-tempered. Heat. Most of the staff in restive under the new manager. ये कैसे? Restive means disconnected. Contrite. तुक्का मारूंगा मैं, अगर किसने तो किस पे मारना चाहिए? Contrite. Opposite पूछा है। Unkindly, hurtful, wandering back. Hurtful. Contrite means feeling, expressing remorse or patience. Affected, guilty. क्या लिखा है? पश्चातापी। Hurtful. Distress and injury to someone. लास्ट वाला गलत हो गया यार। Concept of breadwinner historically merged fatherhood with paid labor. ये सही है। Women's unpaid तो A and B बस, C नहीं है। ठीक है, तो ये है 108 स्कोर आज का। भी रात में एक और होगा, उसमें देखते कितने आते हैं। बाय बाय।